Hello, and welcome to the KISS Web Development Framework Introduction Series. This is the final video in the series. It is Part 6, Deployment. Deployment is the process of packaging up your application and putting it on the server to make it available to your users. In this video, we will cover the following things. First, we will discuss how to create the WAR file. This is a single file that you install on your server in order to install your application on the server. But before that, we're going to cover setting up the Tomcat server. So if you don't know how to set a server up, we'll do that real quickly as well. We'll be installing the WAR file on that server, and then we'll be running the Tomcat server and testing it on our browser. Finally, we'll go over making some front-end changes and making some back-end changes while the system is running. We're now at a command prompt, and we're going to build the WAR file that we'll need to install on the server. We do that using the build system that comes with KISS. So we'll say /build WAR. That's the end. Now we have a WAR file. To take a look at it, the WAR file gets installed on the build.work directory. So if I say ls you can see in that directory there's a file here created, build.war. So that's the only file you need in order to deploy the application on your server. We are now going to set up the Tomcat server on our system. We're going to do this in our home directory just for purposes of demonstration. So I'm going to go to my home directory, and I'm going to see, first of all, I downloaded the Apache Tomcat system. So let me show you what I have here. So the only file that we have on our home directory that begins with APAC is this Apache Tomcat 9040 tar.gz. So this is the Apache server that we downloaded from the Apache Tomcat site. So then we're going to say, we're going to extract the files from it. And now if we do a ls-l, ls-ld, so we see we have the file that we downloaded, and now we've also have the unpacked version in this directory. If I go into the directory, we'll see that that's our whole Tomcat system. So all we had to do was download the file and then extract the contents into a directory. We are now located in the root of the Apache Tomcat server. This is what we extracted. So now if you look at, now after installing our web application on the server, we now want to start the server up. So we're in our web apps directory. I'm going to go into the bin directory, and I just type in startup.sh. That's it. Our server's running, our application's deployed, everything's running. It's all you have to do. Now we're going to go into a browser and see our application running. Let me bring this down here. Okay, so the place we're going to go is localhost. So that tells it it's our machine. Then we're going to go to 8080, which is the default port that Tomcat is configured for. You can change that by changing the Tomcat configuration. Then we're going to tell it which application. We remember the name of our jar was KISS. So the name of our application is going to be called KISS. If you want to use a different name, you just rename the WAR file. So if we go there, boom, there we go. Application's up and running. Let's see how well it runs. We enter our default username and password, and there is our application up and running. Now that we have our server running, we're going to make a change to the front end while the system is running to see how that's done. So you can see up here, we're going to go up to the controls screen, and you see all the buttons and the different controls that you have, which is something we saw earlier. We're now going to edit that. So let me bring up the command prompt here. Now normally you wouldn't edit it in this way. Normally what you would edit is in your development system, and then you would copy these files over when you were satisfied with them. So I'm going to go into Web Apps, and then go into the KISS system. So when we deployed it, the Tomcat server automatically extracted all the files. So then we're going to go here into Screens. And then if we look there, we'll see these are all the screens that are on our application. So we're going to go into Controls. And if we look in that directory, we'll see the controls.html and controls.javascript. I'm going to edit the controls.html. We're going to go here and let's see. So over here you see numeric, and I'm going to change that to numeric 1, 2, 3. And I save it. Then what I'm going to do, and again, normally what you would do is you'd edit this in your development system, and once you were done with all your development, you'd copy all the files over. So then I go here, /. So I go to the root of the KISS system, and I edit the file index.html. I look over here, and these two lines under cache control how what their browser sees. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this string. So that says -2, I'm going to replace that with a 3. So that's going to cause the user's browsers to get the new version. So then if I say control cache, you want to make sure that says true. So we're going to save that. So that's all we have to do. Now if we log out here and we log in, when we go over to controls, you could see the new version, numeric 1, 2, 3. So anytime you change the system, and also we're using the browser in a normal mode here, it doesn't have caching turned off. So caching is turned on, and it automatically knew to reload that page. I am now going to demonstrate making back-end changes to a running system. So here you see the system. I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to go to the REST services, and we're going to call the Java program. So we're going to say 5 and 8. Let's say 10. 5 and 10. We call, and Java returns 15. So it's calling a back-end service here. We're going to look at that back-end service. The place that that's installed to, normally you wouldn't do it on the live system like I'm showing you. What you would do is you'd do it in your development system, and then when you're happy with the service, you'd copy it over to your production system. So, but in this case, for demonstration purposes, I'll go directly into it. So where that's stored is, see that's under our KISS application directory. We go to webinf, and then application, because that's what we're interested in, our application, what our services are, and in here you'll see all your back-end services. So I can edit the one that's called my Java service, and this is our simple Java service. So you see what it does, it takes the input on the two fields and just returns the addition of them. Well, I'm going to say add 100 to whatever that value is. So all I did was edit one single source file. So now let's come back to the application and say call Java. Oh, all of a sudden 510 it came out 115. So you see that the changes that you make to the back-end services on the source code level take effect immediately. The thing I want to emphasize, however, is that it's fully compiled. The system actually noticed that you changed the system, and it recompiled that class. So we're running at full speed regardless. Thank you for taking the time to view this video series on the KISS web development framework. We hope it is useful to you.